Hi everyone, it's Heidi from flutterbyheidi.co.uk, back again with another project for you, and this time it's using a lovely new stamp set called All the Good Things, which for somebody who likes Oriental, but just some general sort of really nice positive thoughts to send, and they've got this beautiful koi carp on here, and it's a new stamp effect called distinctive stamps. So they're almost like photo polymer sort of images, so you get beautiful shading. I've used a single colour on my sample, so this is kind of like the simple one. And I'm actually going to use some daubers to add in some other colour to create an effect like this. Hopefully you can see. I'll move that out of the way. There we go. Here we go. So different sort of colour effect on there anyway. So that's what we're going to do. And away we go. So to start off with then, on this card you'll see I've just used a narrow border, and this was a sample I made while I was at a craft weekend, so I hadn't got everything of my own with me, so I borrowed a embossing folder from a lovely lady there, and this gives this lovely sort of stitched effect which I haven't got, so I'm going to use something different just to show what it's like when you use a different embossing folder. So you're going to start off by creating a card base. So I've done one in portrait. So this is a complete length of A4, and it's scored at so 11 3/4 by 4 1/8, scored at 5 7/8. So that gives us a card blank, and I've used some thick Whisper White here. Then we're going to do a piece of Grapefruit Grove, and to get that narrow border I've cut that down to 4 inches by 5 3/4, and I'm just going to show you how to what I call gut, which is where you take the insides out of a piece of card to save it for another one, because you're not actually using, all you want is that border piece. So line up your card at around about 3/4 inch or 2 centimetres, and again from about 3/4 inch from the top down to the bottom, cut, rotate, line up again, do the same again 3/4 inch, and it doesn't matter if you go slightly over because you're not going to see it. And what you're doing is cutting or gutting the middle piece out of that, so that piece of card can then be used for anything else that you wanted to do. So another project, and off it, there it is, ready to go. So that layer now goes onto our card, and I'm just going to use some standard snail for this. Just pop that. I find it easier to open the card out to get that centralised. Give that a press down. Then I cut a piece of card, and I've already embossed this to save time, but I cut it to 3 7/8 by measurements, 3 7/8 by 5 5/8, and then I put that through one of our dynamic impressions embossing folders. So the only thing you have to remember with this is that these are thicker than standard embossing folders, so when you put it through your big shot you don't need the second plate. So you put your card inside, pop it on top of the base plate with one of your plates like this on the top, and then put it through, and then you'll get this lovely effect. Now the downside of embossing is that you end up with something that's obviously quite textured on the back. So this is one of those rare occasions where I use Tombow. I just find that it gives us a better finish and better adhesion to the layer, rather than trying to, because the danger is that you press too hard with your tape runner and you end up sort of not getting much of an effect of the pattern, or sort of affecting it. So again, just a gentle press on the edges there, preferably without moving it, just while that takes. And again, just to get those edges to glue down, what I will do is just pop that underneath a stamp set to one side to hopefully glue that properly. So now on to the fun bit, which is creating our image. So the stamp itself has got this koi carp on, and obviously it's got a sentiment on the side. Now, I have been known to cut apart my stamps. I didn't want to on this occasion because it's a rather lovely stamp set. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sort of trim a wavy line. And I just crease it with my fingernail there and cut across. So I'm using a bit of post-it note and just masking my stamp like so. Then I can come in with my ink pad, and I'm using Grapefruit Grove again here, which I felt was a lovely colour for the sort of koi carp image. And I'm just taking my ink pad to the fish, pop that one away, and then I'm using a sponge dauber, and I'm just inking that up well, and then just popping a little of that colour on my fish. So I won't know exactly what it's going to look like till I've stamped it. Take off our post-it note, just make sure that wipe away any little bits, and then I'm going to stamp my fish. And there you go. Hopefully you can see that is a really sort of got some lovely colour on there. So not just the flat orange and orange colour. So refocus for you. And then what I've used on this, and it was actually to cover up some splodges I'd made, I used some of the Artisan Pearls, which they have got Grapefruit Grove in them, but they've also got other colours as well. So they've kind of got pinky reds, as well as the very pale peaches and pinks. So I'm just using those kind of orangey colours. She says, hopefully, I'm never very good with just to add a little bit of, oh, I haven't done my sentiment. So I'll add those, but I am going to do my sentiment. And for that, I'm using some soft suede. I like using soft suede for sentiments because I find it's not quite as harsh as black. And you do get a really nice effect. So again, use my grid paper to line up, and hopefully, yes, I got a reasonably straight sentiment. Right, now I can go back and add some more of my pearls. And obviously you could colour your fish whatever you wanted. But I kind of almost wanted like a water droplet effect, but with a little bit more colour. You could use rhinestones as well if you wanted. Any of those lovely embellishments that Stampin' Up! Do, that I don't use anywhere near enough of. So once you've created your panel, layer that onto a piece of Grapefruit Grove. I can't remember if I told you what size this was. This was 3 by 4 inches for the Grapefruit Grove, and 2 7/8 by 3 7/8 for the panel itself. Probably should have stuck that on before I put my embellishments on. And then just pop that on there. And then I've used a piece of the new Designer Series paper in the In Colours, just to create a panel that's 3 inches by 4 inches. And again, we just adhere that without a layer into that top corner, just so that you still get a little border. Like so. And then I've popped this panel here up on some dimensionals, or at least I will have on my original card I did. So just using some dimensionals to pop that up as well. So we've got a little bit of a basket, so you could say that was perhaps a fish basket that was used. It would look lovely, I think, with either the subtle textures or with the ruffled one to go. I wanted to kind of give the effect of water. And there we have a pair of thank you cards. Thank you for your thoughtfulness. Ready to go. So thank you for watching. Come back and see me again soon. And don't forget, if you want any of the products that are in this, that I've demonstrated in this video, pop along to my shop, heidismith.stampinup.net, and you can purchase things from there. Or if you go to my blog and look at this blog post where I've got the dimensions, you can click on the links using the images below. Thanks for watching. Bye now.